What is communism?
Communism is a form of totalitarianism, potentially, that came about when Stalin was in power in somewhere around Germany, and I know it has to do with the Nazis and Hitler and whatnot.
Is there still communism today?
Yes.
Where?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know what Marxism is?
Not a clue.
This is Tony. He is a freshman at Assumption College, and I have a few questions to ask you today. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. What is communism, Tony?
Communism to me is a small group of people that I would have to say govern, if that's the right word for it, govern a country. So it's like, instead of us, like the United States has one president, it's like a group of people instead.
Okay. Are there communist countries today?
Yes, there are.
Do you know any of them?
I could try to name some.
Go
maybe.
for it.
They're probably wrong. Don't make fun of me, please. China, Japan, South Korea, maybe South Korea. Because I know North Korea is a dictatorship. That's a totally different story. And that's all I think I got. Maybe no, not Russia. That's all I got so far. That's all.
Have you ever heard of Karl Marx?
I've heard.
You've heard?
I've heard.
Do you know him at all? Like, do you know anything about him?
No.
Do you know what Marxism is?
No, actually, I do not.
That's all right. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, Tony.
Anytime.
Hello, I'm here with Olivia Nappy, a freshman here at Assumption College. Olivia, what do you know about communism?
I know that it's run by one leader, and they think that everyone should be equal. There's no classes.
All right, good job. Second question, is there communism today that exists?
Yes, there is communism in Cuba and North Korea.
Nice. And lastly, do you know who Karl Marx is?
He wrote the Communist Manifesto.
Good job.
This is Arjun from China. He is my roommate, and he is a freshman at Assumption College. Arjun, what is communism?
Communism is kind of type of the government, like my hometown is communism country, and basically they just government do allow things to the poor people, not like other countries. Okay.
Cool. And in China, Hong Kong is not communist, correct?
I think so because the way they run government is different also for Taiwan.
Cool. You guys call that like two governments in one country, right?
Yeah, basically like this.
Do you know of any other communist countries today aside from China?
Yeah, like South Korea,
Yep.
Russia,
Mm-hmm.
and something else.
That's cool. Have you ever heard of Karl Marx? Do you know who he is?
I think no.
No. So have you ever heard his name before?
Can you say his name again?
Yeah, of course. Karl Marx.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But it should be 100 years ago before.
Yeah. Do you think he has anything to do with communism?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the man that make China, China is always read a lot of things about the man, the book about that man.
Yeah.
Also in the university now in China, we have to take that class.
Oh, okay.
To read the books.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Arjun.
Hello, here we are with Ashley Solomon and Chris LePage, two freshmen here at Assumption College. All right, guys. What, in your opinion, what is communism?
Well, I think communism is like, it tries to make everybody equal, like in the middle class, like it tries to get the poor to the middle class, and I think it like redistributes the wealth from the wealthy people.
My definition is that it takes the power that the wealthy has, being the top percent, and it equals it to the rest of the 99%, which are the middle and lower class, making it equality.
Second question. Is there communism today?
Yes.
In China,
North Korea,
Vietnam,
Russia,
and Cuba.
All right. Third question, and last one. Do you guys know who Karl Marx is?
He's the father of communism.
Yeah, Karl Marx, he created Marxism. So his big idea was that he grew up not having a lot in the lower class. And so he saw the wealthy people, which he created the two classes. And I'm not going to say it because I'm going to butcher it. But he wanted to make the classes equal, and so that the means of production that the wealthy had to make it so the middle class and lower class got the same advantages as the other.
Good job, guys. Thank you for answering my question.
What is communism?
Universal economic equality with dictatorship.
Do you think there's communism present today still?
Yes.
Where?
United States.
This is John, a former member of Archagaste, and he's making a guest appearance in our midterm project. I have a few questions to ask you today, John. The first one is, what is communism?
Communism is a political ideology where a small group of people govern the distribution of wealth evenly among the population, or wealth and assets of a country, evenly among a group of people, so that it eliminates a class system where there are lower and higher classes, and everyone is on the same playing field.
Cool. Are there communist countries today?
Yes, there are.
And do you know any of them?
Yes, China, North Korea, Cuba, Laos.
All right. Do you know who Karl Marx is?
Yes, he was the sort of founder of communism.
Absolutely. And do you know what Marxism is?
Not quite, vaguely.
Vaguely?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Kind of, it shares some of the ideas of communism, that an even distribution of wealth among the people.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, John.
Hello, this is Nady Ramirez. She's also a freshman here at Assumption College. Nady, in your opinion, what is communism?
Communism, in my opinion, is when everyone's equal in terms of getting the same utility.
Good job. Second question would be, is there communism still today? Do you have any examples?
Yes, but I can't think of a clear example. I think Canada would be one? Maybe. Not really.
Alright. Third question is, do you know who Karl Marx is?
Wasn't he like a philosopher who advocated for equal rights or something like that and wages?
Yeah. Good job. Thank you for your time. Based on our interviews, we have concluded that our interviewees kind of have a general idea of what communism is, but they were not 100% correct in the definition.
So we asked 3 questions. First question being what communism is. Second question being, is there communism present today? And the third question, probably the most difficult question, being what is Marxism and who is Karl Marx?
From this, we have concluded that freshmen in college don't have the best understanding of communism and how it works and affects people today.
So Val, what's your take on communism?
Communism is a form of government that branched off of socialism, which is basically the belief that liberties should not be granted or only benefiting the middle class, as is defined in our book. So that means that communism is advocating for the working class. Basically, it advocates the working class to overthrow the middle class, also called the bourgeoisie, so that way that private property can be distributed equally. Communism began after 1840s, and it was first used by Etienne Cavey, a socialist that wrote a book called Travels to Icaria, and then it was actually defined and modernized by Frederick Engels and Karl Marx. So Kelly, who is Karl Marx, what is Marxism, and who was Frederick Engels?
So Karl Marx and Frederick Engels were 2 men who formed the ideology of Marxism. Karl Marx studied philosophy at the University of Berlin. Marx met Frederick Engels in Paris after editing a liberal newspaper until it was suppressed by the Prussian government. Marx worked with Engels on Frederick's family's wealthy cotton manufacturing interests. They soon after organized the Communist League, which they published the Communist Manifesto in 1848. This was the abolition of the old society based on class conflicts and the foundation of a new society without classes and without private property. This became a key part in the Marxist communist revolution.
During the reign of the Soviet Union, there were many communist countries throughout Eastern Europe, Asia, and Africa. Today there are 5 communist countries in our world: China, Cuba, Laos, North Korea, and Vietnam. China was made communist in 1949 following the taking over of rule by Mao Zedong. China is still communist till this day. A revolution in Cuba in 1959 led to the taking over of the Cuban government by Fidel Castro. However, Cuba did not become fully communist until 1961. Laos became communist in 1975 following a revolution led by the Soviet Union and Vietnam. Korea was divided into a Soviet North and American South after it was captured by Japan in World War II. However, it did not become fully communist until 1948. Vietnam was partitioned in the 1954 conference following the First Indochina War. It was divided into a democratic South and a communist North. However, it did not become fully communist until 1976 when the country was unified and it was made into a fully communist country.
So what is the importance of knowing and understanding what communism actually is?
Well, communism is thought about in different parts of the world in a certain way. So here in the U.S., as was mentioned in our interviews, it has a negative connotation to it because of the history and examples that we know of that we're taught. But communism was actually intended to be equal. It was intended to make the classes equal, and we don't really know that as students, but in other countries, people think of it differently, so it's important to know what other people think and how our history actually works. So what's the importance of Karl Marx and knowing what Marxism is?
So Karl Marx sparked the communist revolution to begin with. His ideas, along with Frederick Engels' ideas, define communism. In order to understand communism, one must understand how it was formed and the impact Marx made in the communist revolution. So, as said in one of the interviews, Marxism is taught in different countries where communism still exists because it is still a practice and belief in different parts of the world today.